at 6 o'clock. We're going to bring all our needles in the back out of work. I put the needles back into work in the back because we don't want the toe to have the holes. Okay, now I'm going to crank to 12 o'clock and I'm going to begin my toe. It's the same process as before, and we're going to raise the needle on the feeder side and knit across. Raise again on the feeder side, knit across. Raise your needle, knit across. When you're doing your first sock, I would definitely have you knit at a looser tension, even if you think it's way too loose. You'll be more successful, and as you become more proficient and get to learn your machine, get the feel of your machine, you'll be able to tighten your tension. I'm going to put my heel fork in. Again, I'm going to pull down and make sure that I have it consistent in the tightness from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock. I'm going to hang my weight. Okay, my feeder's on the right, so I'm going to raise my right needle and go along my leg. We're done raising our needles. Now we're going to start putting our needles back into work. We do that opposite the feeder by pushing down, keep making sure that you keep your latch open. You want to complete your toe the way you completed your heel. You're going to have one stitch up before 9 o'clock and two needles up before 3 o'clock. One needle up before 9 o'clock, two needles up before 3 o'clock, and your heel is done. So you're going to go back and knit to 6 o'clock. You're going to remove your heel spring, and you're going to put your needles all back into work. You're going to knit one more row. This is the row that many times you lose a stitch. So be really careful, really check, and go really slow. You only need to knit one more row. And we're going to stop a few needles before the hash mark on the right hand side at 3 o'clock. We're going to stop like here. And I'm going to just tap, tap, tap until this needle here's, the latch is closed on this needle here. There, it's closed. Now I can bring my yarn through into the center, and I'm going to grab enough this time because I'm going to need enough to Kitchener my toe. I always go overboard, so I know that's plenty. Drop it right into the center of the cylinder, cut your yarn, and just let it stay there. Our yarn is safely in the latch right here at 3 o'clock. We don't have to worry about that now, but we are going to thread up our waste yarn and we're going to drop it right into the center, and I'm going to bring it to the right in front of the next needle to the one where the latch is closed. So the first needle after the hash mark is going to get the waste yarn, and I'm just going to bring it along to the feeder and then just put it in the feeder, and now it's in front of these needles here. Of course the latch has to remain open during all this, and now we're just going to go tap, tap, tap. You just don't want anything to happen. We want to make sure that our needles all the latches are open and our yarn is going to be fed nicely, our waste yarn. And again, making sure all your latches are open. You just can't be too careful about that. Go slow. And once you're on, oh, I crank about 10 rows. If you were going to start another sock right now, I would crank 20 rows so that you can cut between them when you go to do the Kitchener stitch. Separate them. And so now I'm going to end this here by bringing my yarn through here. And this one here I can just, I don't know where my scissors are, but I've lost them. And just take your yarn out of the feeder. Be sure to remove your weights. Please be careful about that. I always tell the people that I teach, just keep your feet away from underneath the machine. You're safer that way. Now I'm just going to hold, I just hold the sock, create a little tension, and voila, you have a sock. A lot of times if you can just wrap your yarn around the end of the needle and squeeze it, and then it'll pop right into the eye of the needle. Okay, the sock has come off the machine now, and we still have our netting attached with our waist yarn. So I just fold back our hung hem, and now I'm going to look for a little opening where I can clip it so I can remove the waist yarn. And I see this strand here. I'm going to clip that, and then I see a strand right across from it, and I'm going to clip that. Now, if I just pull this, I can ease it around gently. And then it was just released. Voila. And there we are. There's our hung hem. And our waist yarn is off. And then up in the top, you're going to have a little strand here. I'll show you how I take care of that. You're just going to go into this row and just wrap around each stitch, so to speak, or half of the stitch, I should say. And you pull it up. It basically disappears. Of course, this is a solid color, and a light color, you might see it a little bit better, more than normal. And then I'm going to go down, back down the other side. I try not to put knots in my socks because I don't want to feel knots when I wear them. And then I just cut that. Nobody will ever know.